Pay a fair rate. It's very simple. We like Canada. I love Canada. I have so many friends in Canada, but they've been very poorly led. They've been very, very poorly led, and all we want is fairness for our country. That's all.
Canada's strong. We can give ourselves far more than anyone can take away. We're building this great country. I just met with the Premier, building BC, building Canada, building in a Canadian way. Building sustainably, building together, building positively, and that's what we're going to do. And yes, we'll come to something with the Americans, something constructive.
What if I told you Canada just stared down Trump and didn't blink? That instead of caving to U.S. pressure, it did the unthinkable, cut its dependency on American trade, and pivoted hard toward Asia and Europe. It's not just a diplomatic scuffle, it's a geopolitical power move that could redefine who dominates global trade in the next decade. And here's the kicker: Trump is furious. This isn't drama, it's economic tectonics. Let's break this down. In early August, the Trump administration shocked the world by slapping a sweeping 35% tariff on Canadian goods not covered under USMCA. Boom! Billions in cross-border commerce disrupted overnight. You'd expect Canada to panic. After all, the US is its largest trading partner, responsible for more than $400 billion in goods annually. But instead of folding, Prime Minister Mark Carney did something bold and risky. He didn't just play defense. He launched a trade offensive, redirecting commerce toward Asia and Europe, leveraging the CPTPP and re-engaging with the European Union to build entirely new economic bridges. Canada isn't just resisting, it's restructuring. And that's why this story matters. It's no longer about one trade disagreement. It's about a seismic shift in how nations protect their economies from political volatility. Let's put it on the timeline. August 1st, 2025. Trump drops the hammer, announces 35% tariffs on 69 countries. Canada is hit hardest. The tariffs are effective immediately. No exceptions, no grace period. August 3rd, 2025. Canada confirms no breakthrough yet. Trade talks are ongoing, but tensions are rising. Carney and Trump are expected to speak in the next number of days. Ottawa and Washington, D.C. are in political overdrive. Canadian trade envoys are in Tokyo, Brussels, and Singapore laying down Plan B. Markets in New York, London, and Hong Kong are reacting violently, bracing for aftershocks. This isn't a local fire, it's a global ripple. Let's rewind. March 2025. Trump fires the first warning shot. 25% tariffs on Canadian goods, citing a trade imbalance and border enforcement concerns. Energy exports get hit too, with a 10% duty. Canada calls it unjustified. April to June, negotiators meet. Nothing sticks. Talks stall. July, tensions climb higher. Then comes the August blow, a 35% blanket tariff on everything outside the USMCA deal. This includes machinery, manufactured goods, food products, and transport equipment, some of Canada's top export categories. Trump frames it as a final push to force Canada to renegotiate USMCA on US terms. But here's the twist. Instead of yielding, Trade Minister Dominic LeBlanc publicly warns that the tariffs are an economic nuclear option and a direct threat to North American stability. Carney then pivots. Fast. Canada starts ramping up negotiations with CPTPP countries, Japan, Vietnam, Malaysia, Australia. Simultaneously, EU trade ministers meet with Canadian counterparts to discuss an expanded EU-Canada trade corridor. Carney's message: we will not negotiate under duress. We have options, and we're exercising them. And those options, they're materializing. At the heart of it all, two competing worldviews. Trump's strategy, economic nationalism. Use emergency powers and tariffs to strong-arm better trade deals. Trump sees tariffs as leverage, a hammer to force alignment. Carney's response: sovereignty and resilience. He views the tariffs as an attack on the spirit of USMCA and a signal that Canada can no longer rely on the US as a stable partner. And here's the deeper layer. Trump's play isn't just about Canada. It's a warning to every trading partner: align or be punished. But Carney's refusal to back down has rallied international sympathy. European leaders are wary. Asian economies, already wary of US unpredictability, are warming to the idea of a rules-based bloc with Canada as a central player. Canada's pitch? Let's build a firewall against economic volatility, together. Global markets tanked. U.S. indices like the Dow and S&P fell nearly 5% in a week. Global funds pulled money from trade-exposed sectors. Investor confidence in North American supply chains plummeted. Canada's crossroads. Exporters face sudden losses, especially in manufacturing hubs like Ontario and Alberta. But new trade lanes are opening. Singapore, Tokyo, Berlin, Amsterdam are welcoming Canadian delegations with open arms. American fallout. Prices on Canadian-sourced goods are spiking, especially agricultural products and machinery. Midwest manufacturers, already stretched by supply chain issues, are furious. Trump's base is divided. Some see strength, others see chaos, and it's turning political. Canadian corporations like Bombardier and Maple Leaf Foods are shifting logistics and contracts toward Asia, using China, Vietnam, and Indonesia as landing pads. Sources confirm the EU is actively exploring a mega bloc with CPTPP nations in Canada. This could be the largest free trade zone in modern history, bypassing the US altogether. Even Carney's critics are standing behind him. Opposition leaders who rarely agree with him are calling for boycotts on US alcohol and travel. It's one of those rare moments where the political spectrum aligns, not around ideology, but sovereignty. As of August 3rd, the tariffs are in effect. Carney and Trump are tentatively scheduled to speak, but both sides are digging in. Canada's negotiators are focused elsewhere, not just appeasing Trump, but building something permanent. What could happen next? First tariff reversal? Unlikely, unless Canada agrees to Trump's terms, which so far they've refused to entertain. Second global trade realignment? Highly possible. A successful Canada CPTPP EU axis would significantly dilute US leverage in multilateral deals. 3. Corporate exodus? US and Canadian companies could restructure logistics to reduce exposure to North American politics altogether. One analyst said it best: "This isn't just a trade dispute, it's a preview of a post-American global economy." Concluding remarks and call to action. Here's the bottom line. Trump made a bet that Canada would fold. Carney called the bluff and went all in on a new global order. Now we're watching history in real time. A G7 country refusing to bow to the world's biggest economy, and instead forging its own path through the storm. Will Canada's gamble pay off, or will US pressure eventually break its resolve? Either way, one thing's clear: the age of unilateral dominance in trade is ending. What comes next might just reshape the 21st century economy. So, what do you think? Can Canada build a new economic firewall strong enough to withstand US firepower? Or is this the start of something much, much bigger? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Like, subscribe, and smash that bell icon. We've got more deep dives into the wild world of geopolitics and global markets coming your way.